What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you guys are on a fantastic day today, and today we have the very first episode of a brand new video series on the channel, so I hope you guys are excited for today's video. If you guys are, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on the notification bell so you guys never miss on any content to come. Today we have the very first model comparison for you guys. This has been something found hit or miss throughout the community over the years, and I decided that I wanted to start doing them because I do have quite a few duplicates of models, and some of them, especially new ones, I'm sure you guys, for the duplicates I have, would be curious on what the best way to go is. So there's definitely a lot to go with them, so I thought it would be really fun to do them. So I decided that we're going to start doing them, and beginning with a very anticipated recently, especially, but a very interesting type of aircraft and airline here. We have the Spirit Airlines Airbus A321 in general. I have three of them from three different companies. I have the AeroClassics version, I have the Gemini Jets version, and the NG Models version, all in the Airbus A321 variants, of course. So I do have a scale for this series that I will be going off of to compare these models and pretty much give them a rating. So this will determine which one is, I guess, if you want to put the best, but everything has their pros and cons, and it goes for all three of these models. So all three of them are very, very nice. I'll give you guys the rubric to begin since this is episode 1, and then we'll get a little mini review of each model, and then I'll start giving you guys the ratings of the models and why I think each one's better and all that sort of thing. So beginning with the rubric template, however you like to word it, for how I decided to rate these models. The first, each score gets a 1 through 5 per model, and then there's 10 categories, so the final score is out of 50, so you guys will see how it works momentarily. We have the nose category, the fuselage category, the wing and engine category, the landing gear category, tail and horizontal stabilizers, the details, the color, the print, if you guys are a little confused just by how the labels and things are printed on there, and then the quality control, and then the mold, and then the final score out of 50 for those 10 categories. So as you can tell right here, we have 3 Spirit Airlines A321s, we have 2 relatively new ones and 1 older one. We will begin with the boxes. So here are the 3 boxes. Here is the AeroClassics box. As you can tell, it's very simplistic. This was back in 2014 this came out. This was 2017. I ain't way off. I know I said 2014 quite a few times, but this is 2017. I don't know why I got those back. I'm thinking Velocity models. That's the Velocity models 319. That's what I was thinking of. But this is a 2017 release. So here's the box. It came out with the JetBlue 321 and JetBlue Vets in blue. Very simplistic, very simple, all the way back to 2017. And then we have the Gemini Jets box, your traditional box from the August 2020 release. Here's the flap and everything. Reviews of these two next ones are on Massive Unboxing number 10 if you'd like a full detailed review of those. But this is August 2020. And then from the July 2020 next generation models releases, we have the Spirit. This obviously is not the model, so I will not rate the box or give it into the score, but by far the best box, obviously. Super, super nice and detailed, really like it. And here's the Spirit A321 box from next generation models. Okay, so here's the AeroClassics. I've never done a review on this, so I'll kind of point out, obviously your very traditional AeroClassics stuff here, not very detailed, but everything is proportional and correct. You have your normal kind of prone to fall off landing gear, but you have your accurate mold, and surprisingly a very, very good color on this. We'll go into it momentarily down the line here on the review, but everything looks really good on this model. This one's very acceptable. I used it very, very frequently for years. So very, very nice. Next up, we have the Gemini Jets Spirit Airlines A321 from the August 2020 release. This is a very nice model as well. One of their better models this year for sure. They did a really nice job. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but the Wi-Fi box is mainly the key difference here. But super nice model indeed. Really, really nice job by Gemini Jets. Super nice, and we'll kind of go over it more in detail later. Once again, the Massive Unboxing 10, we did the full review of this one and the NG one if you want to go see the full review. Finally, we have the NG models, Spirit Airlines A321. Once again, Massive Unboxing number 10. Super, super nice model. Really, really nice. This one does not have the Wi-Fi box. We'll talk about that more in a moment, but I just thought I would give you guys a little overview before I start pointing out each and everything here. So we will begin with the comparison. Okay, so let's begin with the nose section of the aircraft. NG models and Both do a very good job on this mold with the aircraft. So as you can tell right here, both are nicely done. I believe the NG is a little better. As you can tell, the AeroClassics is a little more flat, and both will get 5s for me. Very close in represented. Now I'll bring in the Gemini Jets now, and as you can see, the Gemini Jets version has a lot more, you know, not near enough a slope to it. It's kind of larger and kind of looks very clunky. If you can tell, this antenna fell out. I had to look for it for about 5 minutes, but I finally found it. So there we go. It definitely looks pretty clunky, and I decided to give it a 3. I'll try to see if I can bring in the AeroClassics a little bit here. Kind of hard to do with 3. We probably won't have 3 every time, but kind of that deal. Or actually, I'm going to change it. I'm going to give AeroClassics a 4. It's very close, but it's not. Or you know what? No, I'll keep it a 5 just to not go through the effort. But it's not as good as I initially thought, but they got the concept down, and it's still really good. Once again, here's another comparison. Yeah, it's all right. I think I was given. But still, the Gemini one just doesn't compared to the others. So 2 5s for AeroClassics and NG, and then a 3 for Gemini Jets. Now the fuselage category for these 3 models is done very interestingly. So on the left here, I have the Gemini Jets and the AeroClassics. The Gemini Jets especially, but also the AeroClassics, you can kind of notice that it seems kind of bulky, you know, in real life. It's kind of hard to tell through the camera, but a little bulky, not the most perfect ever. I'll put the NG and Gemini side by side here because this can really where you can tell the difference. But as you can tell, the Gemini Jets is quite a thick boy, if you want to put it that way, compared to the NG models. And then the AeroClassics is kind of a happy medium of everything. As you can tell, it's not completely thick, but not completely thin, but it's still not bad. I decided to give Gemini Jets and AeroClassics a 4, and I decided to give the NG models a 5 again for the fuselage. The wing and engines are a very interesting category. I'll begin with the AeroClassics version. I don't know why I had the NG out there, I apologize. So the AeroClassics version, as you can tell, keep in mind this is a 2017. AeroClassics isn't the most superior company in the world, but it's just simply not detailed. You have no markings even of the speed brakes besides just a different color paint, and then you have kind of the bend in the wing there. The engines are proportional and they look okay. You have this little thing right here, but they are kind of a little wobbly, but that's kind of what you'd expect with 321s. We'll talk more about that in just a moment, but and then they almost look like they're kind of coming off there, as you can tell, but that's kind of just a mold deal. Same thing on this side, just you would hope for better, but it's AeroClassics. I decided to give AeroClassics a 3 in this category just for the lack of detail, but for 2017 AeroClassics standard, it's not bad whatsoever. Now the Gemini Jets version. Here's the Gemini Jets wing and engine. I have to say I really like how Gemini Jets, I'll bring down the camera, but they got a good gap between the between the ground and the engine. Sorry, the landing gear and antenna keep falling off. I'll just put it back on real quick. So as you can tell, Gemini Jets got a really nice gap there between the bottom and the ground, but obviously in counter to that, as you can kind of see on the other side, you're gonna give up a little flex on the wing for that. So as you can tell, it's slightly bent. And that kind of levels out. The AeroClassics is even slightly better, but not very good. Sorry, not very great there for sure. Okay, sorry, the landing gear will not stop coming off. I'll probably just leave it if it keeps coming off. But the engines are nicely done. Home to Bearfair looks really good. And then one thing I have to say, I'm done with it, is as you can tell, very nice wing detail here. The speed brakes are clearly marked and the wings look really good. And then you got Spirit.com on the outside and you got Howdy on the inside. I'll bring it over here actually and start talking about the NG because there is some things I do want to compare. Here's the NG models. Let me back it up, get some sunlight back here. All right, so here's the NG models. As you can tell, it's not as I guess definition wise, as you can tell, that's kind of very obvious, and they make it very obvious what's pointed out and what the details are. This one seems to kind of chill out on that. Sorry for moving the camera during the video, but as you can tell, it's kind of chilled out on that. This model's better. The Americans had some problems with it, but it's a little too low to the ground. That's due to the landing gear height in the back being lower. It needs to be a little higher. But as you can tell right here, the wings are very nice and level, which is what we're looking for, and it looks super nice. So with that, I decided to give AeroClassics a 3. I gave Gemini Jets a 3. Or AeroClassics because they always tend to fall off and they're just not very good. Or sorry, that's landing gear, my bad. Yeah, okay, so both these two got 3s again. AeroClassics isn't very detailed and just not very good. Gemini, we obviously had, Gemini got a 3 because of, obviously you have that tilt, but the engines are proportional, so that's pretty good. And I'll give it a 4, that's a little off, I'll give it. Okay, so, sorry, Gemini Jets got a 4, just the angle looks kind of bad. The NG got a 4 only because you obviously have, it's very close to the ground, and that just has to do with the landing gear being a little too low. So unfortunately that will have to take to the scale, but very nicely done. And plus it's not as detailed as that Gemini. That Gemini is very close to getting a 5, but both of them are very, very good, and the AeroClassics just doesn't really compare very well. Now on to the landing gear, which was what I was getting confused with. As you can tell, the AeroClassics landing gear, they are very undetailed. I do understand that this is a 2017 model, but just for full evaluation for today's standards, that's what we're going off of. This is still a good model for the time and everything, but AeroClassics is just the actual comparison. Landing gear are very undetailed, and they have the tendency to fall off. Surprisingly, these have not, which is kind of surprising to me that they have held on this whole time. Besides that, they're decent, but I gave them 3 just because they literally fall off all the time, and they're pretty bad. Somehow they're still rolling though. Okay, the Gemini Jets also got a 3, and as you can tell, they fall off as well. Not as often, I just got really unlucky with this model. They've been they've been better recently, but frustrating with these Gemini Jets. But as you can tell with this nose wheel, it's very clunky. It's gonna be hard to get all the way zoomed in like I would like to. But as you can tell, mine does, and I'm sure a couple others, the tires actually going inside the actual frame, which is interesting. It is a lot more detailed though, but since it just looks pretty clunky and just not great, and they keep falling off and everything, just look really loose and all that, I will give it a 3. I decided to give an NG models the 5 here again because they roll like they're supposed to. They're very good at, they don't really fall off very often, and they actually just look nice and simplistic, which is what we're looking for. Obviously they have that little gap, but it's not near as present. They did a good job. They're a little low on the back mains, which caused the engines to look pretty low, but they did a very good job on it, and it's pretty gosh darn good. Okay, so for the tail and horizontal stabilizer area, AeroClassics got a 4. Very simplistic, but they did a good job. The horizontal stabilizers, what I really like about the AeroClassics is they're nice and level, which is how they're supposed to look, so they did a very, very good job there, and it looks pretty good. The spirit print's very nice as well. The Gemini Jets one's very similar as well. It's nice and level for the most part, a little crooked on, or a little angle on the horizontal stabilizers, which just a little is what we're looking for. Spirit tiles has done well, and then you have that one gap for, or sorry, that one little crease for the rudder. Gemini Jets got a 4, but NG got a 5, and this is why. Horizontal stabilizers are very nicely done. As you can tell, look at all the creases here for the rudder and everything. For the horizontal, or sorry, for the tail, which look really good, and then the horizontal stabilizers, just like the GJ, are very nicely detailed. But just look at that, that looks very, very nice and very accurate. So I gave them 5 in that regard. For the details, this is AeroClassics, they got a 3, just very simple. As you can tell, oh, the camera's very crooked. My apologies, that should look a little better. But as you can tell, very simplistic, just have a red hazard, barely can see the Airbus A321. Nothing really on the underbelly, just very simple. So I decided to give it a 3. That's about the best we could do for that. The Gemini Jets for details got a 5. This is something that Gemini Jets is pretty gosh dang good at for the most part, and they did a really nice job here. They got the A321 and then multiple hazards down here, and then they got the US flag back here, or that's what NG did as well. But the underbelly is where you're gonna make your difference here. Hopefully I don't lose the antennas, but very plain kind of, but you do have you can see your nose cone, landing gear stuff, and then hazards through here in the middle. So they did a much better job representing most of their details here. So Gemini Jets got a 5, and I can't set it down. I don't want the landing gear to fall out. The NG models also got a 5. This is something NG models is super, super good at. Everything's the same here throughout, and on the undercarriage, even more details. Look at that right there with the 5 dot things, and they did a very nice job here on the luggage loaders, as you can tell. Very nicely done, and then the antennas and everything looks super nice. NG models really killed the detail, and this is something they're very good at. Look at this nose, man. You can't deny that's a 5. I would almost give Gemini a 4 comparing it to the NG, but super, super nice. 5 here for NG. Okay, so here are the, this is the color category that we're on to now. I'm trying to find the best way to align this. But as you can tell, we have 3 different shades, very slight different, but we do have 3 different shades, as you can tell. I decided to give the NG a 4, or sorry, AeroClassics a 4 because it looks a little pale and kind of just a little off. Now, if we turn the Gemini more this way, as you can tell with the NG angle, that it's looking more that yellow color that we're looking for. So the back is Gemini, the front is NG. I gave both them a 5 in real life. The Gemini looks a little darker, which is all right. I think it looks good, especially to the naked eye when you don't have the comparison. And the NG got a 5. I believe, I could be wrong on this, I didn't look at any pictures, so I'll be honest. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I think the NG looks the closest. I think it's that lighter, and from remember seeing it in real life, it's kind of a middle match between these two, and I think the NG is probably slightly closer, so NG will win that one. And then for the print, this category pretty much means how the labels come out and everything. I decided to give the 3 to the AeroClassics, because as you can tell, it's not very nice on here. I can kind of feel it. It just doesn't feel very good, and it's just not near as good. Now, I just noticed something that's super, super cool. The Gemini one's still nice. They did a good job. As you can tell, it comes out pretty nice, but I decided to give that one a 5, but it probably deserved a 4, but it's all right. It's acceptable. What's really cool about the NG one is I can literally feel, you see these little specks through the paint right here? I can feel that. That is so cool. It feels like, it kind of feels like, kind of like you're rubbing your finger, like the texture of your finger, I guess. Let me think of what that feels like. I can't even describe it, it's so cool. But you can literally feel these scratches inside the Spirit logo. That is super, super nice by the NG version. That is so well done. Everything else on the print, you can even slightly feel it on the tail, but on this logo, you can feel it. And then Home of the Bear Fair is done nicely. Is it supposed to? Yeah, a little lowly printed right here for sure, but not bad. I understand it happens sometimes. But on these two, it's done really well as well. And then the Spirit titles are done very well. Once again, for the print, AeroClassics got a 3, and then these two got a 5. Okay, so for the QC, this is really the tank of NG, I'm sure you can imagine. AeroClassics, I didn't see any of them come broken. Maybe some did, but for the most part, did pretty well, so I gave it a 5. Gemini Jets, I haven't seen any come broken to this point. Gave it a 5. NG, I gave it 2, and I'll just put the picture on the screen. That is why so many of them came broken. It was a death's race for trying to keep them. But I think they have improved. I have not heard anything bad about the Delta ones to this point, and they took that month intermission and they changed the packaging around, so I think it's going to be much better and well done. So I definitely gave it a, I'll give them 5s in the future if they're well deserved. Very good. And then finally, the final category, the mold. All of these molds are really, really good. The Gemini one has some slight problems, so I'll go over that one first. Just the landing gear don't look great, and then the nose looks kind of off. Yeah, and then the landing gear fall off, and then the antenna, I wish I could, yep, just falls out. So I decided to give it a 4. For the most part, they do a good job, but when it starts to when it keeps falling apart, that's kind of where I draw the line. These two are very good. For the most part, they are very accurate, or they're very close, man. This nose is even a little different, but I think these two done it really well between the AeroClassics and the NG models, and I gave them both 5s, which will give us to our final score of all these models. Okay, so I do have a couple thoughts I want to give before I give the final ratings. The main difference between the NG and the Gemini Jets is obviously this Wi-Fi box right here. They will all have Wi-Fi boxes at some point. Most of them will be yellow, but there will be a couple white, so there that is. And also the price difference. The NG models version is $45. However, the Gemini Jets version is $35. So, or sorry, $44 if you want to round it, and then $36. So obviously you have that $8 to $10 price difference, and then your shipping and everything, of course. So that type of deal. But I'm sure you guys can figure it out, or yeah, figure it out through the retailers. And if you can find the AeroClassics, it's very rare. You can probably find it at that $50 price point, since the value's let up since these two have came out. So for the final scores, I just want to make sure I didn't really forget anything. I think I got the rest of it. Yeah, I think I got the rest of it under control. Both really, or all three are very nice models. From left to right is my score, the best ones. Down here we have the AeroClassics version, which got a final score of 39 out of 50, which is a 78%. So not bad there for a AeroClassics model. They did pretty good on this one of their better products for sure, and I thought they did a super good job on it. AeroClassics got a 39 out of 50. Next up, we have the Gemini Jets version. By score, got a 43 out of 50, or at 86%. This is one of their best models. They did a very, very nice job on it for the most part, and it's really nice. They really did a good job, and I'm very impressed by how they did on this model. For the most part, besides the landing gear, antennas falling off, and the wings being angled, and a couple of slim other things, they did a really good job. With the Wi-Fi box, and then it's a little cheaper. The NG models version got a 46 out of 50, or a 92%. If it didn't have QC issues, it would have been near perfect. The only 4 I gave was on the wings and engine, and that's for one really slight detail. And then you have the Shotcut angle, which is kind of different too, but that wasn't really, they're very close. I kind of forgot to mention that, but 46 out of 50. So besides the QC, the NG models, Spirit A321 is, in my opinion, probably the best one. I really like these two on the right. Both of them have their pros and cons. It's mainly that Wi-Fi box. It's a very tough decision on which one you would want. But yeah, very, very nice. So that will do it for the first comparison, guys. This was really fun to do, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of my score system and how you guys think it was. And please let me know in the comments which models you want to see that I have, duplicate-wise or whatever, that you want to see compared. I'm thinking of doing more modern stuff, so I'm thinking of doing the American Airlines 787 2015, 2020 release next, but stuff like that, that is the same type of aircraft and airline and everything that we can compare. So like the, let me give you guys a good example here. American Airlines 767s from 2016, 2020, Southwest Airlines 737-800s from NG models and Gemini Jets and that sort of thing. They can be the same brand, we can do comparisons on that, or they can be different brands. For instance, with the American 737 2013 or 15 release from Gemini Jets, and then 2019 release from NG models, that sort of deal. So, but yeah, please let me know what kind of comparisons you guys want to see, because I do have plans to make more of them very soon, and I was really glad to do this. So let me know what you guys thought of the model comparisons. I thought it's super cool, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments also which ones you guys got or will be getting. I highly recommend all three of them. They're all really good models and all have their pros and cons as per usual. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Lots of exciting videos on the way. I really appreciate all the support, guys. Don't forget to do the giveaway. You guys there should still be at least 4 days left or so. So don't forget to go join the giveaway if you haven't already. That video is out on the channel if you need the information for that. But my name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and trust the process. Do what you love and love what you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon as Redriveraviation is signing off.